We have to let go of our search for the easy button. It's time for a change in mindset, because that's what leads to action. It's time to embrace a special new skill. Nature makes no mistakes. God does not play dice. Instead, all of creation springs forth according to a few simple, elegant rules. All of creation, including your body. Know these rules and your body comes under your control. Welcome to Mind Over Symptom, where the pattern is revealed. With health symptoms or challenges in any area of your life, it's perfectly normal to be stuck. But while it's normal to be stuck, it's not okay if you're committed to being successful. Being stuck, that is, having a recurring or chronic symptom or a problem that's getting worse instead of clearing up, is an outcome of a state of disconnect between what we want and what we're doing to get it. So it's inaction on those things that we need to take action on to get the results we truly want. Now, this is not an episode about motivation. We do have good excuses for our inaction. Long lists of excuses, many of them handed to us from the world around us, excuses that people have been using for many, many years. Now, obstacles can be removed. Excuses are ideas, they're projections about how it's likely that we can't do something. They're not true obstacles at all. We can make progress even in the face of our perceived barriers. And I'm talking for any situation, any diagnosis, any crisis, any conflict. Remember, whatever your challenge, others have had that challenge or a similar one. And though they may not have been in the majority, others have moved forward under the same or tougher circumstances. The peril of inaction is that nothing worth having comes easily. If it does, it's not worth having. It's of very low value. I mean, subjectively. So for the next little while, imagine a future in which you have stepped past your current limits and you're enjoying new freedom, success, and well-being. And while continuing to hold that ideal future in mind, expand your awareness to a larger timeline that includes the current state of your life. What do we all consciously or unconsciously believe is the cause of our health problems? We believe that symptoms are punishment for not following the status quo rules, for not being normal. We live in a society that's all about following the herd, being normal, doing what's collectively believed to be right for the many. Unfortunately for you, the individual, this shared societal belief does not promote development of the very skill you need to heal. So unfortunately, self-healing is an extraordinarily unusual skill. Not that it's difficult, in fact it's quite intuitive, but it is very unusual. Instead, we're following a body of teachings that tells us our health is dependent on following the instructions that come from outside us, saying the key to health is to take a pill, accept a treatment, that even the disease itself comes from outside of us. At some level, then, a symptom, any symptom, must therefore be a result or consequence of your non-compliance with the norm. Don't worry, I'm only being dark and dramatic to build up to my point. I am going to show you how to fix all this. Just stay tuned. So, on the surface, this herd mentality, adherence to the norm stuff, it might sound like nonsense, but at a deeper level, this is going on for almost all of us. When we're facing the reality of a symptom or a syndrome, that's a collection of symptoms, a symptom or a syndrome that threatens our well-being, our happiness, our ability to do what we want, or even threatens our life, what we're being called to do is to develop a new skill. Because there's a gap between our current condition and the conditions we would rather have. And the fact that there's a gap means that we're missing something. So if I have a distance between how it is and how I want it to be, I'm lacking an ability to make something happen or make something about the world be a certain way. That is something I don't have. It's a missing skill. And the pain of not having what we desire draws us forward, makes us take those first trembling baby steps. That's how we develop the skill. So here we are facing a symptom or problem of some type, and we need to develop a new skill. It might mean undergoing some kind of a regimen, changing how we sleep or eat or move. Most importantly, Since every symptom begins with a traumatic stress, to truly heal, we have to develop the skill we would need to have so that when that kind of trauma happens, it's not a stress. So that's a psychological skill, or an interpersonal skill, a relating skill perhaps, or a self-realization skill. When we're learning a new skill, to some extent, we have to immerse ourselves. Trial and error is extremely important. But the steps aren't intuitive. You can't jump in an airplane and figure out how to be a pilot by trial and error, just by, guessing. A lot of non-intuitive learning has to be done. We have to do a lot of reading, research. We have to consult people who've been through it to develop a new ability that you don't have, a skill that hasn't been part of your experience. You have to immerse yourself into activities that don't necessarily feel natural or comfortable. And you have to immerse yourself into research and ideas that don't necessarily make a lot of sense or may not have interested you otherwise. I'm a cleanup person. I clean up contaminated sites. I clean up problems. As a mother, I think I spend most of my time actually cleaning up misunderstandings, cleaning up dog poop, cleaning up broken toys, cleaning up my disastrous information management system. Now, here's the thing about cleaning up. I've been led to believe through decades of programming that the key to cleaning up is to find that magical Mr. Clean Swiffer Swiper. You know what I'm talking about. You've got this disgusting, filthy stain on a bathtub or a stovetop or on your beautiful white sports jersey. And then, with this magical Mr. Clean Swiffer Swiper, only $8 today at Walmart, you can automatically have this perfect, pristine, sparkly showcase outcome. There's even magical twinkly sound effects. You can maybe even see a line of bubbles or just a split screen and a boom! That problem is solved in the blink of an eye. Way back in 1939, before people had TVs, even then they saw right on the screen in Technicolor in the movie The Wizard of Oz, people witnessed that Dorothy had the solution all along. After all that running around and all those terrifying situations and pain and suffering, it turns out that all she had to do was click her heels together 3 times and say the words, "I want to go home." And her troubles were immediately all resolved. And this was no unsatisfying ending. Seemed perfectly logical because everyone was already used to the idea of magical bullets. Dr. Smith's special purple pills, the elixir of life, the fountain of youth. People have been looking for these things for centuries. There's an expectation. The quick fix, magic bullet, easy button solution isn't even a product of brainwashing. It's not a conspiracy by anyone. It's just good marketing. See, to get customers to buy your product, you give them a little bait, a little tidbit of easy and free, and this way you draw them into the process that really has to be done to get the result that they desire. So if someone wants a sparkly, clean bathroom, we can't market what they really need to do, which is to scrub urine and mold off the floor with a toothbrush and get poop all over themselves as they unclog the toilet, or have cold bucket baths for the 3 weeks while it takes to rip out all the rotten joists in the corner of the bathroom and reset the bathtub properly. Plus, that ongoing drama of trying to get everyone to clean up after themselves. And so it goes. Instead, we market magical Mr. Clean Swiffer Swiper, which for a low fee of just $8 will let you swipe that bathroom clean in exactly 1.5 seconds. So you can sit back on your white couch and have a cappuccino. Look, there it is in the commercial. 1 swipe of the bubbles and all the grass stains and blood and mustard on that dreadfully abused sports jersey are wiped away. And what's left is this blinding white shirt fit for an angel. So we have a consumer society, and communication is always about marketing ideas to people, selling ourselves, our ideas, our solutions. Marketing is the basis of every industry. It's no different for marketing health technologies. We want to give people the impression that doing it themselves is a giant pain, probably won't work at all. But if you just get my product, then bling! And the magical Mr. Clean Swiffer Swiper transforms this absolutely disgusting mess. And just like that, it's perfect. Just spend your $8 or your $800 or your $8,000 and your disaster zone is going to look like this showcase. The medical and alternative health industries can't market drastic, permanent lifestyle change involving deep inner work, resolving painful past experiences, and having faith in our own bodies. Instead, they show us how awful our current state is, They tell us terrible statistics about cancer, loss of fertility, painful ways our children could die, awful anecdotal stories about people having heart attacks in embarrassing situations, people going crazy. Just, there's a never-ending stream of news stories and statistics about all the awful things that can happen to us and happen to our bodies. Health marketing scares people. It shows people terrible, painful problems. And then it shows them the easy button. A laughing, smiling older couple enjoying a tropical vacation, happily living their lives despite cancer or heart failure. An adorable middle-aged man out on a date with a hot chick despite his erectile dysfunction. An athletic woman out rollerblading despite her yeast infection. But it's just a marketing message. The solution really isn't in the pill, injections, or surgeries. It's really not in eating the right supplements or drinking the right green smoothie. Yet, over time, most people end up expecting these easy buttons, these magical Mr. Clean Swiffer Swiper solutions in our own lives. It's by training, by very early and lifelong indoctrination. The idea that there is a solution, an easy button solution, and it's magical. Apply the correct solution and boom, it's taken care of. And we expect the solution to be some sort of technology. A magic pill, a magic surgery, just the right magic substance injected into us, and we can have immunity. It can be just conferred upon us. We can have health conferred upon us. If we think about it at all, we realize that no, it takes effort. Everything takes effort. In fact, it takes far more effort than we initially expect, because if we initially expected it to take that much effort, we probably wouldn't even have embarked on the project. It's not only true for cleaning your kitchen, it's actually true about being born in the first place. It's a lot more hardship than you would ever have imagined. And not only is failure probable, failure is actually inevitable. This is how the fifth natural law of healing works, how change and evolution happen. We realize, there's a gap between how I desire things to be and the current state of things. My desired state is different from my actual state, and that's painful. That's the origin of conflict, which creates the symptoms. So, with this story of this magic Mr. Clean Swiffer Swiper, with the belief that there is a magical technology to solve everything, we end up seeking that instead of just seeking to overcome the problems, to actually embark on the cleaning up. My office right now, it's a mess. The floor has junk all over it, and I've actually spent quite a bit more time lamenting what a mess it is than I've spent working on cleaning it up. I'm embarrassed. What if someone shows up unannounced and sees it? It'd take me about 3 minutes to clean up. There's a broken toy, a couple coffee cups, all accumulated around a wooden barrel I'm halfway through refinishing, and there's the glue bottle, and the half-used sheet of sandpaper, and some other odds and ends that have kind of accumulated in this area, sort of like flotsam and jetsam. Really, I could just go over there and tidy this up. But I want the magic Mr. Clean Swiffer Swiper solution. I want to wave the magic wand, click my heels together, say the magic words, and boom, the room is clean. What's particularly frustrating is when someone markets solutions to me and I buy those solutions and then I don't get my solution. Never mind that the course I bought is sitting on the shelf, still shrink-wrapped, and I never even looked at it. I unconsciously believed that by buying the course I had my solution. Done. And that was wrong. Spending the money didn't get me the solution, it just showed me what work needed to be done, or it would have if I'd opened the bloody front cover. When we're dealing with health or any important matters in life, really relationships, wealth, purpose, spiritual development, we study, we try things, we take the test, but then if we flunk the test, we don't just move on to the next topic. Life gives us that same material over and over and over again, no matter how many times you fail to get it. The lesson will have to be learned before you can move forward. You cannot move on to walking if you haven't mastered crawling. But we continue to cling to the idea that if I just purchase the right product, I can skirt over everything. If I just get the right meds, if I just get my diet sorted out, if I just find that perfect work-life balance, if I just click my heels together and say the right things, boom, it's done. Over time, we start to do the same quick fix solution for every area of our lives. We're waiting for the answer instead of rolling up our sleeves and getting down to business. We band-aid, whitewash, superficially coat everything about our lives. Oh, my marriage is wonderful. I love my job, my husband, my neighborhood, whatever it is, so much. And we all have the exact same hairstyle and laugh at the exact same jokes and vote the same way, and we just love it. Oh, I've had headaches for years, but it's just part of getting older. Oh, sure, my wife mistreats me, but hey, women, what can you do? Oh, yes, I can be lonely sometimes, but I just try to do my best. That's all we can do in life. Oh, well. And we don't address the much deeper issues that are the actual source of what we don't like in our lives. In other words, the easy button, or at least the promise of it, prevents us from doing the work to really get what we want. The wrinkle on your face, the pile of junk on the sideboard by the door, the picture that hangs crooked, that annoying person, these are superficial expressions of problems that have a deeper source. Why is there a mess on my office floor, for example? Why am I refinishing a barrel in my office? Why is there a broken toy in my office? This isn't a playroom. And why should I be spending time cleaning my office? That shouldn't be my job at all. Now off I go blaming, and I don't clean it up, because I shouldn't have to. As much as it bugs me that my office floor is messy, the mess stays there, in this case for several days now. Instead of me just seeing, oh, that doesn't belong there, and picking it up and, passing it along or tossing it out, it stays there because of these and probably other deeper unconscious reasons. And not only is my response to the problem unconscious, the cause of the problem is probably deeper and unconscious too. This is the case for all health symptoms, since the traumatic stress response that triggers symptoms in the body is always unconscious. This is why we get such dramatic results in my one-to-one sessions. We're just bringing unconscious stuff up into awareness, and problems, they just change. They become projects instead of problems because they're no longer unconscious. So the solution, it's not an easy button, but the solution is there, and it's not rocket science. However, do we really want to heal? Problems come from deeper, and we try to whitewash and hide them. And as much as a house could have a beautiful frontage inside, there could be no food. The parents might be fighting or cheating on each other. The kids might be miserable and withdrawn. Everyone might be failing and hating themselves behind these perfectly polished facades. Such situations are, by definition, unsustainable. There comes a tipping point as the system decays behind the pretty face. Too many easy buttons, too many quick fixes, coping mechanisms, avoidances, and cover-ups, they set us up over time for cancer, an accident, an economic disaster, a relationship breakdown, depression, problems of every kind. And the problems get bigger the longer we avoid. The average of this is that we build and build and build, and then typically when our adult children move out and begin to build these superficial lives for themselves and we watch them repeating our stuff, well, that's about the age when people hit the breaking point and the system collapses. That's actually why the average age of death is 70 to 90 years. That's about how long it takes for us to see, oh, it was fake. This was a false solution. And I no longer have the strength to try something new. All parts of our society are involved in this because of the expectation. When you're in your 60s and you get constipated and you go in for a colonoscopy and you get a bunch of treatments, that's expectation. The exact same symptom occurs in a 14-year-old. In this case, the doctor might say, hey, here's a laxative. But more likely than that, the 14-year-old with the exact same symptom as that 60-year-old, well, that kid doesn't even worry about it. Maybe does some jumping jacks. Maybe, tries different kinds of foods. Maybe, drinks a bunch more water, Googles it, tries all kinds of things. Just deals with the crap. Superficial solutions accumulate. And while the surface may look wonderful, it often masks a decay and crumbling that on average comes to completion at 70 to 90 years of age. But your body's actually built to last hundreds of years, unless your superficiality reaches such a state that there's no more ability to go deep. So what to do about this? How do we really heal? It's simple. Screw the status quo. You're not normal. Thank God. Now, stop avoiding the problem and dive into it. Be the child mind. Start asking questions. Start researching others who've had a similar problem and have overcome it. Do not check into the status quo. Statistics mean nothing. You are not a statistic. So the survival rate for whatever you've got, it's less than 30%. That's a heck of a lot higher than 0%. Take your attention off the norm Not only is it scaring you and depleting your strength, it's wasting your time. Because to heal, you need to be putting your focus on what will work. You might have to really dig for it. You might have to do a lot of trial and error. But when you put a smiley face on, when you say, everything's great, even though it's not, when your focus is on normal, when you're more concerned about the fact that you have a problem than you are about why you have the problem and what you can do about the problem, all of that is a distraction, and it just makes the problem worse. Avoiding the problem turns a small issue into a huge issue that'll eventually kill you, and the longer you fake it, the longer you focus on image instead of content and quality, for example. The more you focus on what other people think instead of on what your soul craves, the harder it is to arrive at a true solution. So let go. Stop fighting upstream, running away from depth. Crash and allow yourself to drown in the reality that you have a problem. Don't lie to yourself. And the sooner you do it, the better, because you'll build the skill that you really need. The skill of facing your problems and solving them. Now, there are 3 reasons why, in the short term, we reach for the quick fix, magic, Mr. Clean Swiffer Swiper solution instead of jumping on our troubles at the moment that they first become apparent. First, the idea, I shouldn't have to. I expect others to solve my issues, and I don't work on the issue in the meantime. So my facade stays okay, but my behind the scenes continues to get worse. You have to do the work. Nobody else can do it for you. And don't let them. Demand real solutions. Be honest about what's really required. Do your part. But demand that others do their part as well. Climb on others as stepping stones. Learn what they know. Look for patterns among those who have succeeded, or at least those who have made progress. You paid for it, either in time, money, risk, somehow. Get what you paid for. In my case, I shouldn't have to clean up my office floor, but I've made a commitment to living in this way, with this family, with this office configuration, in this house, with this lifestyle. And I want a clean office more than I want everyone else to be perfect. So I'm going to deal with this directly until I see a better approach. When you're going out there for help as a victim who shouldn't have to deal with stuff, you're actually prime prospect for someone who's marketing a quick fix solution that doesn't really work. But when you take responsibility, even if it's someone else's fault, then this reverses. Second, the objection, I can't, I don't know how, I'm not able. In this case, just start. Stop analyzing, stop shoulding on yourself or others. Just start. Just go pick up one thing off the floor. Just move that butt off the couch and bend over, touch the toes. Just Google one thing. Just go to the fridge and see what's in there and make one list. Stop waiting for that magic solution to find you. Take a tiny step toward finding yourself. You don't know what you don't know until you start. So it can seem like an insurmountable problem before. But as soon as you begin to take charge of your health challenges, the confidence starts. The confidence comes after we take the risk. And once you start to see options. And third, there is the problem that we've tried before. I tried before, I failed every time. At least I tried. That's what's important, right? Wrong. It's not important that you tried. It's important that you keep trying. But don't keep trying the same thing. Don't look what others are doing and copy them. Don't keep doing the same thing you did before. Keep trying new things. You are trying to see if this thing will work or not, and as soon as you determine it doesn't, try a different thing. Your goal is to be one of the successful ones, and most aren't. So you have to keep working on your stuff, but you're not trying for the sake of trying. You're testing to eliminate all the options that don't work. Don't bother trying options that other people have already failed at. Your failures are actually productive. Fail as much as you can, as soon as you can, and get it out of the way. In my case, I put a bucket by my office floor to collect stuff. I'll yell at the kid next time he's trying to dump his toys in my office. I'll schedule when I clean. I'll schedule company coming, so I'll have to clean. I'll keep trying until I find a system. The successful ones are the extreme minority. You break away from the norm. That's how you become successful. Successful ones are not the norm. People who overcome lung cancer are not the norm. Don't do it by competing. Do it by going a different direction. When I do that, I'll see, hey, it's because, my mess in my office, it's because it's right off the main traffic area. The entrance, the kitchen, the bathroom, the living room, the main bedroom, they're all right around here. And the stairs from the upstairs, they come and then gravity just brings everything right here. And so, of course, all the stuff's going to kind of go into this room because it's the calmer room. The other areas are busy and stuff can't accumulate there. So it's a natural flow, almost a gravity flow for stuff to accumulate here. And that's just a fact. And I don't focus on my office floor when I come in to do my work. I just kind of step over the mess and get right to my desk. But that is something I learned. I've learned now, this is why it's a mess. And I don't have to go off onto these tangents about how it should be different. Now, to clean it up, I just have to get down and sort through it and take it all where it belongs. And my system is actually getting better over time. So that's it. If you really want to heal, whether it's a health issue or a challenge in some other part of your life, you have to let go of your dream of finding the magic solution. There comes a point when bending over and picking up the pieces is what you have to do, even though someone else should be dealing with that, even though it might demonstrate how inexperienced you are at dealing with things, even though you just can't. Nature is patient. If you do nothing, the problem will still be there tomorrow waiting for you to finally decide to win. This has been episode 12 of the Mind Over Symptom podcast. Please check out my free Mind Over Symptom training, which shows you how the laws of nature can help you create anything you desire and uncreate anything you don't. I'd love to hear your feedback in the form of a review so that I can continue to improve what I do, or just reach out to me through one of my channels, which you can find all in one place at mindtreehealth.net. Links to these and other info from this episode are in the show notes. I'm Liz Springford, your guide for radical self-healing. I look forward to being with you again soon. Until then, be well and have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Mind Over Symptom. To make sure you don't miss an episode, subscribe now and please share with a loved one. The Mind Over Symptom blog lives at mindtreehealth.net, where you can get your free training about the natural laws of healing, and you can also get support. I'm Liz Springford, your guide for radical self-healing.